How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about AOC's Instagram Live that is making its rounds all over the internet. It's very popular over on Instagram where it was first recorded. It's also very popular on the Twitters where it's making its rounds as far as the individual 1 and 2 minute clips. Now, the full video is about an hour long, so I won't cover that entire thing in this video. If you want to see that, I'll link to it in the description box below. But basically, the video was just her in a room with nobody else in view of the camera, and she's talking about her experience at the Capitol during the riot. Because, of course, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, aka AOC, is a member of Congress from New York, a House rep. Now, I don't doubt that she was scared, which is what she said. She said she was scared. It was a whole lot going on. I don't doubt that, all right? It was a crazy thing. It shouldn't have happened. I denounce any violence, any of that stuff at the Capitol. I totally denounce it 1000%, period, all right? But what I will take issue with is some of the things that she said during the live. Now, in this video, I want to focus on one clip from that video where she brings up the police and Blue Lives Matter and how we don't care, all this and that. So I'm going to watch that with you so I'm able to break in here and there and interject my particular viewpoint. After we get done watching that and me commenting on it, I'll give you the rest of my 2 cents, my deep detailed analysis, and then I'll wrap it on up with a nice bow on top. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
I don't want to hear or see the Republican Party talk about blue lives ever again. This was never about safety for them.
Let's pause right there. Let's pause right there because right when she said that, I was triggered immediately. Okay, we can't talk about blue lives anymore. But who cares about the police? Who cares about blue lives really? Okay, because the Black Lives Matter and Antifa quote unquote rallies, protests, whatever you want to call them, have been raging in the US of A over the past year and really for the past few years. You know, during the last couple of years of Obama, they were going on. And then in 2020, after George Floyd, it was at a fever pitch. People getting shot, killed, houses being burned down, businesses being burned down, officers being assaulted, hunted, all that stuff. And then what do we get from that? We get slogans like ACAB, which means all cops are, pardon my French, bastards, right? So what I hear a lot is, oh, it's about the bad police. Well, really, I can't tell. It appears to be about all cops, right? That's your slogan. Pigs in the blanket, fry 'em like bacon. Where's your rebuke against that? We were the only ones speaking against that. And those of us that are sensible and not caught up in our feelings were also against the officers that were beat, assaulted, or whatever at the Capitol riot. But I digress.
It was always a slogan. Because if they actually cared about rule of law, they would speak up when people break the law.
Tell me how many Republicans are in favor of the Capitol riot. I'm trying to figure that out. I mean, you got some guys and girls, just regular normies that, you know, don't really see an issue. But tell me how many Republicans, how many, like, what is the percentage of people that really endorse the Capitol riot? I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
They would speak up. They would enforce fairness and equity, but they don't give a damn about the law. They don't give a damn about order. They don't give a damn about safety. They give a damn about white supremacy. They care about preserving the social order and the mythology.
Let's pause right there before she goes any further. White supremacy, social order, what does that got to do with anything? Okay, what does that got to do with it? You went from talking about the police and you don't care about the police and law to white supremacy. But you know what? It's kind of a rhetorical question to me, at least. I know what's going on here. She's saying that she put in the race thing in there because what they've been saying about Trump since the very beginning, not only Trump, but also Trump supporters, they're racist, white males, all this and that. So they're trying to link this riot to all Trump supporters, and they're trying to make it be a thing about race. So whatever they said from 2015, 2016 to now 2021, they can be validated because if they put out the whole racist thing enough and they say it enough, especially at a time like this, then it's more likely to stick. And so it's a game that we're playing here. Like I said on my Twitter, I feel like politics can be like a way too long game of chess, and we are the pawns on the board. But let's keep going.
Of whiteness than the grandeur of our democracy. That's what they care about. They lust for power more than they care about democracy. That's what those people did when they voted to overturn the results of our free and fair election.
I don't know about overturning the results. I think the vote was to see if there was any kind of irregularity. I'm not really sure about the overturning. Not really wanting to certify it because there's some things going on. We need to do some investigation. I'm not sure that's the same thing as overturning. And again, we're trying to link different things together. So you're trying to say if I have a question about the election and others go out there and do stupid stuff because they have a question, then that means we're the same. We're not the same. I have a question about the election. I think there's some weird stuff going on, but I'm not going to go out there and hurt people because I feel that way.
And you can barely call them that with the amount of voter suppression that they have engaged in across the country. It is generous.
What is voter suppression? So if I say, hey, let's get a voter ID, let's have an ID card to be able to go out there and vote, how is that voter suppression? Because if there is no voter ID and anyone can vote as anyone, then someone could take your opportunity to vote and disenfranchise you. So isn't that also voter suppression from your point of view? What is a bigger form of voter suppression? The inability to vote because your vote was taken, or requiring security to make sure that your vote is safe? Tell me which one is actually voter suppression.
To say the least, to call them that. And so with all of the rules rigged in their favor, the Electoral College is built on a compromise with slavers.
Electoral College, what are you talking about that for? This seems like a old beef because of the 2016 election. You've not gotten beyond that. You want to tell us to move on, now you move on. Why are you bringing it up right now? Because according to the results I see out there in the streets, Joe Biden won the popular and the electoral. So why is that even relevant right now? It doesn't make any sense. The Electoral College is very important because without it, then there'd be no need to go to some of the smaller states and even hear what the grievances are. It's a way to have everyone counted and not just some people counted. But you already know that, don't you, do AOC? You know what's going on with that. You want fair and equal elections. You should be in favor of the Electoral College.
The Senate is rigged in their favor. Gerrymandered districts are rigged in the Republicans' favor. This presidency and the law breaking and the pardons of people who have betrayed our country, all of it.
The pardons, listen, let's not go down that road with the pardons. I mean, Donald Trump's pardons have paled in comparison to the amount of pardons that Barack Obama gave. So let's not even go down that road. Every president does pardons. This is just a normal, everyday occurrence. I mean, I've seen terrorists get pardoned by previous administrations. Let's not do this. Let's stop all the lies in the game plan, AOC.
Rigged in their favor, and they can't even win with the whole deck stacked with them. They can't even win with the deck stacked in their favor. And so what they are willing to do is set a match and light our entire democracy on fire.
Okay, so we're going to just burn the whole democracy down. But who is the people, who are those that are out there talking about burn it all down, ACAB, pigs in the blanket, fry 'em like bacon? Who's actually been burning stuff to the ground? Your Target, your Walmart, they burned a senior living facility down. They burn all types of stuff down. I'm seeing old ladies on TV crying, talking about they burned my store down. This is where I go. I don't have a lot of money. I got to be able to get on the bus and walk. You know, my whole thing, my routine has been ruined because they came in my community and did it. It's not Trump supporters. It's not people that say back to blue and stuff like that. You're talking about Black Lives Matter and Antifa. So spare me the non-existent crocodile tears.
Fire so that they can uphold the social order of white supremacy. That's what this is about. Straight up. This is about thinking that if an election doesn't reinforce your power, then you believe it is fundamentally illegitimate.
All right, so you heard that, you saw that. Now, wow, there was a lot there, but I pretty much covered it. I mean, this is just hypocritical. If I can have one word, if I could just take one word from the English language to describe what I just saw, It's hypocrisy, period. Because when Black Lives Matter and Antifa were just roaming around the country, as they still are, there was a riot recently. I'm talking about what, like New Year's Day or something in Portland, Oregon, when they go around the country and just riot indiscriminately, when they kill indiscriminately, when they kill 8-year-old little girls, Sequoia Turner down there in Atlanta, Georgia, where they kill 77-year-old men, David Dorn in St. Louis, when they kill young, old, middle-aged, whatever, when they turn stuff, when they tear stuff down, when they burn stuff down, I don't see all this anger and vitriol from people like AOC or Maxine Waters or anybody else. All right. And they antagonize it. Maxine Waters talking about when you see them, confront them, get in their face. Others talking about, hey, we need more of these uprisings. We need to do more and more and more. What's that? Jenny Durkin of Free Out of Washington talking about, oh, it could be the summer of love, referring to Chaz Chop, where not one but two black teenagers were shot and killed. Not to mention the rapes, the robberies, and general assaults that happened in Chaz Chop that was allowed to go on. You're talking about Portland, Oregon. They tried to burn the federal courthouse down for like 3-4 months straight. They trashed the city. That's going on all over the country, and there's none of this energy towards that from people like AOC and others. All right. I'm a consistent person. I'm against Black Lives Matter rioting, as I am against anybody that claims to be on the right rioting, period. Okay. And really, it is the same thing. A Black Lives Matter riot that descends into chaos is the exact same as a Trump rally that may descend into chaos. It's the same. Okay. Because the Black Lives Matter people have their own personal convictions, and that's the reason why they go out there and do what they do. They're doing wrong because they believe they're justified in their actions. It's the same thing from those that claim to be on our side. They say, hey, I don't like the election. It didn't go right. So I'm going to go out here and do a thing I know is wrong because I feel like I'm justified in my personal convictions. It is the exact same thing with no difference. All I ask from anybody, especially people on the left, is to be consistent in your outrage and your anger. Okay. Don't just let it go when it benefits you and your side. And then when I act like it's the end of the world, when it does not benefit you when it's on the other side. But you know what? As I close, I want to say this. Although the Capitol riot was terrible, it's horrendous, and it shouldn't have happened, it benefits the left more than anything because what have they been saying since the very beginning, since Trump first even came down the escalator? Oh, racist, misogynist, homophobe, transphobe. You know, you hate immigrants, people of color. You hate. You're racist. Your followers are racist. They're dumb. And if they don't get their way, they're going to do X, Y, and Z. So the Capitol riot gave them validation to go out here and use their institutions they have control of, academia, government, really, corporations, mainstream media, social media. They're able to use all 5 of those to attack us and to marginalize us and to strengthen themselves. So really the Capitol riot was great for them. It's their method and it helped them. The same thing as a BLM riot. So a BLM riot has more in common with the Capitol riot than what I first saw on the surface, which was one side has their convictions, the other side has theirs, and that's why they do what they do. It's no difference in the motivation and the intended outcome of what they're doing. It's the same exact thing, but it's much more they have in common than that. Both of these things, the Capitol riot and the BLM riots, help the left. It's their tactics, and it ultimately aids them to get into their goal. The BLM thing helps them to raise money, helps them to get elected, helps them to kind of like transform soft voters that are kind of weak, don't know the proper direction to go. And it also helps them, when we do it, to marginalize us, to say how bad we are, how wrong we are. That's just what it is. Of course, it's not fair. It doesn't make sense at all, but that's just the reality in which we live. So as I close, I want to say this. We could turn it around. All we got to do is just not endorse that kind of behavior. We got to be the light in a sea of darkness. If we become the darkness, then there will be no light. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think that AOC was correct in what she was saying about the Capitol riot? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. Or was she incorrect about what she was saying? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. You guys know where I stand. What I see is a stone cold stomp down hypocrite. You want to come down hard on those that were out there at the Capitol riot, but yet when your side does the exact same thing, it's no big deal. That's very hypocritical. If you're going to be that way towards us and those that did the Capitol thing, be that way towards your side of the aisle that does all these riots all over the nation and that have been doing it for the past few years. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.